All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about absolute certainty, how to feel it, why it's important, and what we can do to generate that feeling of absolute certainty in our prospect and also in ourselves. So let's hop into this document here. Key Sales Principles Guide, Exercise 6. What is something that you have absolute certainty in, where you cannot be doubted? Doesn't matter if it's true or if it's false. In fact, in many ways, we can't really ascertain what's really true, what's really false in the absolute sense. So think about how you look, how you speak, how you communicate when we feel that certainty. When you feel that certainty, think about how you look, how you speak, how you communicate. It would also help if you recorded yourself, because that way you can get a sense of how you look. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to see everything because you're you and you're just looking at you. So you really have one reference point. But this exercise is very important because we have to understand, not just understand, but really embody that feeling of absolute certainty. And the easiest way to get there is to really just think about something that we're certain in and talk about it. Actually talk about it in front of the camera, to somebody else, and really feel those feelings. So what this means is that with our prospect, why is this important? Well, because if I tell you, for example, this store that you're looking for, it's up 2 blocks, make a right, and then on your left side, even if I'm right, you're going to doubt that the store is actually there because of the way I sound. I don't sound certain in what I'm saying, so you're going to doubt me. But if I tell you, go up 2 blocks, hang a left, it's on your right-hand side. Even if I'm wrong, you're going to believe me and you're going to go to that store. So, of course, we're not trying to mislead anybody, but you see that the tone matters as much as the solution, because if your tone, if you have absolute certainty, but you're leading them to the wrong solution, it's actually in a sense worse than if you have the right solution, but the wrong tone, because at least there you just lose a deal. But if you have the right tone and you have the wrong solution and you're misleading them, then you've closed the deal. You temporarily accumulated some money, but then they're going to leave a terrible review. They're going to tell their friends. So that's not going to help you. So you need both of those things. Certainty. So we have that level of confidence that we can transfer onto the prospect so they can take the route, right? Just like the example I gave, so they can take the route, but also make sure that the location is specifically what it is that they're looking for. So the solution is the solution that they need. So those 2 things have to be in place. And this exercise is going to help because it's going to really help us reference that experience so we can reproduce it in the meeting. So going back into the document here, we must know the prospect inside and out. Then we can correctly pair our product or service, the benefits, with their specific needs and character. If we don't know the prospect and their individual problems, the product knowledge is irrelevant because they're going to doubt its effectiveness based off of our lack of understanding, which means we can't solve a problem we don't understand. It's actually not possible. The only way to solve a problem is if we know what it is that we're doing, what it is that we're solving. And so the first step to that is understanding the prospect, understanding their goals, understanding their pains, understanding their desires, understanding their aspirations, understanding the totality of their current situation and how they're thinking. It's important to understand all these things because once you confirm with them that your understanding of them is correct, then they're going to start thinking to themselves, this person understands me. Therefore, whatever solution that they're offering is potentially a solution to my problems. When I say potentially, because you can't guarantee certainty in another person. It's not possible because you're not them. We also, in a sense, can't even guarantee certainty with ourselves, but we can get closer and closer and closer and closer. So those 2 things are going to be necessary to do exercises to really start to really feel that sense of certainty, confidence, however that manifests in you, whether you're more relaxed, whether you're more energetic, whatever the case is, it doesn't really matter, but we want to generate that feeling. And also to know that feeling is not sufficient because we have to know the product, the prospect. Of course, we have to know the product, the service, the industry. We have to have all of that product knowledge, but the product knowledge, like I mentioned, is not relevant unless you know the prospect, you know their individual problems, their concerns, their goals.